Hi, Amber. All right. Thank you. We're all set. So, let me just start out by checking in with you and seeing what comes forward in the way of information, all right? And then we can get to your more specific questions because they're great questions. So I want to have plenty of time.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So what I am seeing is there's a bit of a lack of organization in all of your intuitive senses. So the information is coming to you in a lot of different ways, but that it might help you to start thinking about asking your intuitive guides, and you do have 3 guides that are helping you specifically with your intuition. One of them is a huge, huge angel, Raphael. And Raphael is overlooking your intuitive senses. So to me, Raphael, and you can look him up, Raphael, is a really powerful archangel. And when I see an archangel involved with somebody, I know that that somebody is really quite special in that they are awakening to their connection with the divine or with all that is. And the angel wants to make sure that that is a very strong connection that cannot be disturbed by any, bad stuff, or so that you can do your service to help people out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he basically has 2 assistants to help out with your training is the right word. So a lot of what is happening is kind of giving you experiences so that you have a training going on. But these 2 other guides, one of them is showing themselves as like a secretary. In other words, the secretary will take all this information that you're getting and try to help you with setting up a filing system inside of your own mind or inside of your own head, so that information that comes to you will be a little bit more organized. And that will come with some time, and I think we'll talk about that a little bit more, it feels like, with the more specific questions that you have. Let me give you a for instance, though, just so you know how organization happens with intuition. And this is the way that it works for me. It might work just a little bit differently for you, but you can ask your guides to bring you the information in a way that it makes more sense to you. So, for instance, for me personally, when I am working directly with somebody, the information comes to me with people who have passed over. I usually see them on the left side. So that helps me to know, oh, those are people that have passed over. Guides and angels usually are around a person's head. So I can go, oh, okay, those are guides and angels. So I don't have to sort every time I see something to try to figure out what it is. That works for me, like right now when I'm talking to you, a lot the same way. That right now I'm actually looking at a picture of Hawaii, but I'm not really focused on Hawaii. I'm still seeing that in the middle, as though I would be looking at you, I'm seeing your guides. And they are dancing around as though they would be above your head if I was looking face to face at you. So even if nobody is there, or if I'm still seeing them in the same position, so that it helps me to know what information I am getting. It goes from there. Like, I know some guides are like different colors, so I see different colors. So I know, oh, if I see purple, oh, that's Saint Germain. Well, that's true for me. It might not be true for you. So you have to start.
Green.
Okay, all right. So
green is given to me often.
yes. So green is a healing energy. Green might be a guide for you. What's your sense?
Yeah, I looked it up and I forgot what it said now. I feel like green angel message.
Cool.
I just figured I was getting angel messages that they're with me, and
great. Wow, yeah. I'm getting strong angel presence too. So I would agree.
Oh, it's led by Archangel Raphael. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Angel light represents healing. Yeah, healing and prosperity. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
That's pretty neat.
Oh wow.
So
yep.
I had no idea that it would be from Raphael, but that's exactly what this says. That's crazy.
Oh, that is crazy. So I just confirmed what you had read, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I just brought up a page, yes.
Okay, so
awesome.
There we go. We're confirming. I have goosebumps.
That's exactly what I get. I think when something's connecting with me, I get the chills. Even though I'm not cold.
So now when you see the green, you can start to assume it's Raphael. And so your guides are all trying to figure out ways to, have a connection with you. And
so am I, and I'm really lost. I know that they know that.
Right. And so that's, I think, where the organization comes in. So now it will be easy. When you see green, you will know that Raphael wants your attention, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a really great thing to know. So from now on, green means Raphael to you, Green might mean, throat chakra to somebody else. I mean, there's a lot of different meanings. So the important thing is that you start keeping track so that you have your own, interpretation system that's beginning to develop.
Okay.
That's personal to you. I keep getting prompted to mention that it would be good, and maybe you already are familiar with Doreen Virtue. She
writes. Yeah.
Yeah. She has great books about angels. And so when you know more about angels, then the angels will use what you know to contact you. Let me give you an example. I used to interpret my dreams a lot. So I bought a dream book, and I started using that dream book. Well, you know what? My dreams have adjusted to that dream book because my guides know I'm going to be looking it up in that book. Now I have a friend who has a different book, and I was over at her house the other day, and she goes, "Oh, well, let me look up your dream." And I was like, "No, that's not quite right. No, that doesn't feel right. No, that doesn't feel right." Well, when I got home and I looked in my own dream book, it made sense because my guides know that I know about that one book, right?
Okay, yes. Got it.
So if you study Doreen Virtue's book about archangels, for instance, or you have it around, the angels are going to go, "Great. Now we have an agreed upon language or agreed upon symbols or agreed upon rules of how we're going to communicate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So,
yep.
yeah, so they'll start, they want to communicate with you, so whatever you learn about, they'll try to communicate in that manner with you.
Awesome. Okay.
So I think it's time to get a Doreen Virtue Angel book.
Okay.
And she's in, Barnes and Noble lots of times, and so they're pretty easy to find.
Okay, awesome.
So that will help with the organization. So it's kind of like all of the guides are wanting to communicate with you. And when I say guides, to me that means people, maybe people that have passed over, that means angels, that means ascended masters, that means energies, that means healing energies. So all of it is like gifts from God or gifts from our divine guidance to help us to understand the messages that want to be shared with us. So that is kind of the stage that you're going through, is that you've got to figure out some interpretation methods that you like, and then the guides will help to start adjusting to that.
Okay. Awesome.
And so you're starting with, I think angels would be a good idea.
Okay.
And you can become familiar with. Now, seeing colors, that means you're clairvoyant. So you're seeing things, right?
And then you're also the spirits with me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like the crossover ones.
Ah,
I can hear, but
so
I can hear something. I can only hear them talking when I'm sleeping, and they keep waking me up, and then as I'm waking up, I hear the words that they're saying right when I'm just about to wake up, and then I wake up and I can't hear them anymore. Otherwise, I can hear the footsteps. I can hear them ticking, knocking. But
during the night, or you mean you can hear them kicking and knocking during the day?
All day.
Okay, all right.
All day and night, and they shift about all the time, or they're touching me on my leg or something.
Yeah, so let me talk to you just a little bit about that, because your guides are, your organization angel is saying, Raphael's like pointing to her, saying, all right, it's her turn to help you to get this sorted out. So the reason why you can hear them at night is because you are a little bit softer, or you're a little bit more meditative.
Yeah, I understand that my vibrations are different, not so high, or not so yeah, I understand. I'm more relaxed. I understand.
Yeah. All right. Now, the fact that you can hear them and sense them during the day, that's a good sign that you are not far from being able to hear them during the day while you're conscious.
I do. I want to hear them talking, and Tom gets really anxious, and he's trying to get the other ones to get my attention. I know that he's frustrated.
Yeah. So, who did you say, was it Tom or?
Tom's like the main one I know that does stuff, and then I heard now there's a lady who sounds like she's at least probably in her 30s or so. I hear her voice sometimes.
All right, so here's the other thing too, is that with people that have passed over, some of them are not very helpful. Okay, so they might be getting your attention, but they might just be your garden variety of ghost.
He wants help for something. I know. He wants me to do something for him.
All right.
I know.
Okay, so but I'm still saying that sometimes obnoxious ghosts can want something from you, and it has nothing to do with the highest good or doing something helpful. All right, so the first thing that you need to ask is, ask Raphael whether this is somebody that you ought to work with.
I don't think I'm supposed to work with any of the ones that are with me right now, because, like, Tom was shot, and that's when he died, and I don't think there's anyone around me to help me. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that at all.
Okay. So here's then. So when you're really perceptive, you can pick up on a lot of things. So part of your organization needs to be that you only hear or have around you or is allowed to be around you things that you can be that are helpful to you or helpful to other people.
Okay.
You know, that you might eventually help.
Okay.
And so, you know, that's a question that needs to be asked, and it sounds like you're already sensing that. So,
I feel bad not helping the ones that are around me, even though they're not here for me. But I feel bad not helping them. That's my problem.
So here is the thing: is that they might be playing on your guilt. So, yeah, because they know that you are a really caring person. All right, so we need to really find out if you're supposed to be helping with people that have passed over. But the best way that you can help with people that have passed over, especially the ones that seem to be kind of in that realm of, you know, confused, or they have problems, or they don't want to go on.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what it sounds with Tom, you know, is that, you know, he probably did something that wasn't great, and now he's like stuck wanting to make it right. And so what I do is I tell them to go to the light. And but I do it in a manner that I have found that is really helpful, because they don't feel like they deserve to go to the light, or it might have been a shock that they died, you know, something suddenly, and so they don't want to leave, or they've left something undone that they want to finish, so they don't leave, or they feel sorry for the people that are left behind and they don't want to leave. And really all the solutions are available to them if they go to the light, because everything gets resolved there. Even if something horrible happened, it can still be worked on, you know, from beyond. That's why, you know, people who do readings with people that have passed over find them to be so helpful, is because there's further healing that can go on, but the person has to have that experience of being in the light to prepare them to, you know, take care of the problems or assist on this other side, or to call in angels. There's all sorts of things that can happen after they go to the light. But the thing is a lot of people don't want to take that option because they feel like they'll lose control and they won't have a chance to make things right here. So you have to kind of catch them off guard. And so what I always do, because I know that if they get into a conversation with me about it, they won't want to leave, you know. No, I, you know, killed myself, and now my mom's sad and I don't want to leave her. How can I make it right? You know, they'll get into a big conversation. So what I do is I look them in the face, or when I feel like I have a sense of them being right there with me, I take my arm and I point up really fast and I say, go to the light. And I look up and they look up where my finger's going. And as soon as they make contact with the light, they're sucked up into it. So it's kind of like surprising somebody and saying, look! And then they look up. You know, they do it naturally. Because I personally know that's the best for them.
Yes. Okay. I'll give it a try.
Yeah. And then they can give messages from over on that other side. You know?
Yeah. Awesome.
They can still do what they need to do from that other side. So it's not taking away any of Tom's choices to make things right or to help.
Okay.
And that might be why you are being blocked from hearing them also, because your guides don't really want you to be bothered by things you can't help with.
Okay.
And that's true of you in your personal life as well, that you might want to look at your personal relationships and try to, gravitate more. If you're going to be helpful, you need to gravitate more towards people that you really feel like you can assist or that they want your assistance.
Okay.
And if they don't want your assistance, then it might be that you need to get out of the way and let somebody else help.
Okay.
All right, are we on the same page so far?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think it's fabulous that you're sensing these things, because if you can sense them walking around in your place, once you figure out how to kind of duplicate that quiet mind while you are awake,
Yeah.
then you'll be able to, hear and have even a greater sense of things. So
Okay.
you already have it. It's just a matter of sorting through what you're supposed to be hearing and what you're not supposed to be hearing, and then finding in yourself the ability to come to a quiet place.
Okay.
I'll give you, and meditation is fabulous.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, I'm like, well, then what kind of meditation do I do? I feel like I need a guided one.
Well, you might need a guided one to start, but I think Buddhist meditation is the best. I think that there is some mindfulness meditation might be good for you also.
Yeah. Okay.
And really what I'm thinking is that something short. So if you can come to a quiet place in 5 minutes, perfect. The idea is to become so familiar with that quiet place that it's available to you most any time that you want it.
Yes.
So when I phoned you, I got into my quiet place. Now that's why I had to plug in my computer, because it was distracting me. So, there's certain things we can do to make it easier, So I did a lot of my checking in with my guides right from bed, because I still find it easiest that when I'm kind of in that drowsy but not up state yet, if you use an alarm, it kind of ruins it.
Yeah, true. Yes.
All right. So if you can, plan, or if you can do waking up without an alarm, that is a really perfect time, because at that drowsy first, you look and you go, oh yeah, there's the sun coming up, If you can catch yourself during those times, those are the perfect times to say to your guides, and here's another really good tip: guides, what do I need to know today?
Awesome. Okay.
Then it's specific to you, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what you want, is you want guidance that's specific to you. You want messages that are specific to you. And you want those sorted through by Raphael.
Okay.
So Raphael's going to make sure that you get the messages that you need, and you don't get the ones that you don't need.
Oh.
And so
I feel so lucky that that I'm receiving help. I know how lucky I am.
Yeah, and that gratitude feeling is also absolute confirmation that you want to really be of service, and you want to be in integrity, and you want to do the right thing, and you don't want to hurt anybody. And Raphael knows that, so that's why you're a candidate to have him as a guide. He's not available to everybody, but he wants to make sure that you're taken care of while you are figuring out what all this means for you and why are you here. Mm-hmm. So, I'm like, wow, too. So, sometimes those feelings of gratitude or those feelings of awe can be so overwhelming. So when you feel that, just know that you are coming into knowing yourself even better. You're opening your heart to yourself. You're saying, oh my gosh, who am I to deserve this?
Yeah. Well, I know, and I feel like I'm to help somebody, but I just need to get there to be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really is helpful to have some of this not necessary stuff away, and then having that secretary and her name is Amber, so I think it's a part of you that is working with, behind the scenes with Raphael. So you're being coached how to kind of file this stuff so that you can learn how you're supposed to help. See, it wasn't until I had a sense of what kind of information and how it was coming to me and being able to count on it that I really began to have a better picture of how am I supposed to be a part in it. But I also know that a part of the path is to be willing to, as things come to you, talk to people about it or try it out on your friends so that you have some exercise,
I will. Hopefully I can do it with people online, because in Minnesota not many people are open.
Gotcha.
I get shot down a lot over here. People are very closed and selfish over here, I find, and it's kind of a heavy energy.
So I really encourage you to begin to maybe go to a class or two if you possibly can, where people are like-minded.
Okay.
So that you get some friends that are like-minded, so that you can feel freer to talk about some of these things as they begin to, grow on you.
Okay.
Okay? So it's really hard to do it alone, because when you know you're going to be of service, and when you know you're going to be helping people, and you can do some online. I do know a gal that became quite an online counselor because her relationships with people online really got developed because she was giving out advice and things.
Okay.
But then it's kind of hard to figure out how do you not have that big online presence and you start, making some money at it, or start to really honor yourself. She had no business card. She had no way of saying, hey, this stuff is really special to these other people. So that she wasn't honoring herself as much as she possibly could.
Okay.
And so that's a fine line, and I know that I didn't even really explain it all that well, because I don't want it to be all about money. I want it to be all about respecting what it is that you might potentially bring to the table to help people. And so if they don't realize that wow, I'm really excited because I've been waiting 2 weeks to talk with Amber, and she really can help me. Unless they have that kind of pulled out of their everyday life, you cannot really touch them at very deep level. What it will be to them is just another helpful friend on the internet.
Okay.
kind of like other relationships where if you're nice and you're nice and you're nice, people just take that for granted, right?
Yeah.
But what you really like is you like to be nice to people who really appreciate it. And the people that really appreciate it are the ones that know that you stand out from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And you already do stand out from the crowd in your ability to be helpful.
I just got to figure out how to be more helpful to more people, because I kind of just stay inside all day because I don't feel so good. So I'm not like doing much. I'm kind of stuck.
All right. So the not feeling so well, may I ask what's going on?
Yeah, I have chronic fatigue from Epstein-Barr virus back in 2012. I wasn't treated. Well, I didn't know. I am being told that I'm supposed to be taking antivirals for it, but doctors never told me that I'm supposed to be doing that. And I was never treated. I just thought it was supposed to go away. And now I've had chronic fatigue for some years now, and my muscles hurt terribly, and I'm tired all the time, and sometimes I sleep days away. When my neck hurts really bad, any kind of stress, I've been like been known to sleep for like a month and not do anything whatsoever. So it's really it's wearing me down, but of course there's something. I've gotten a lot more compassion from it for others, for their pain, and especially for my mom, who I haven't been nice to with her fibromyalgia, and like I haven't been as compassionate as I should be in the past. And so, I mean, there's always more to learn from feeling, going through something. So I just figured I'm not supposed to, be healed yet, but then my big worry is if I'm healed, I don't want to go back into an office job where I'm not helping anybody, and that's like my life is being in an office again and not having time with the family or helping anybody. That's what I don't want. I don't want that.
Right. So I think that if I were to take first of all, I want to say I know that it must be extremely difficult and not at all the way that you want things to be. And so I'm really sorry that you have this experience going on. And when you have a sense of, really needing to be out there and really helping people, it can really crush your spirit if you don't have the energy to do it,
Or to even show up for a class.
Right.
Regarding helping my abilities, like I can't even rely on myself to be up for doing it that day. So
Yeah. Yep. So what I want to say is that that symbolically, I have seen it time and time again that there are these interesting ways that people come available to being motivated in a different way. So I believe if you were in a situation of needing to really help somebody and they really needed you, you would find the energy. Am I right?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I could have helped this one girl who had a hysterectomy like me, and then I ended up not feeling good, and so then I missed the time when she needed somebody. So, and I don't feel good, and then I kind of am hard on myself, like, why couldn't I have found the energy to help this person when they needed me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So are you going to be in a position to maybe try out the antivirals?
Yeah. The problem is finding a doctor. Like, the doctors don't know anything, and I have to do the research myself and come and show them. And I'm hoping my one doctor who was going to do it retired. So now I have to go to a doctor who has not been active in helping me, and not knowing anything to do or even researching it. Like
Right.
He said he's going to do things and he doesn't do it, and I have to convince him to try it with me. Like he's not very. It's hard to find a doctor who's as caring as the one that I had who'd retired. So it's like it's iffy.
So,
but I'll try.
All right. So you might get online and look up integrative doctor.
I did. I went to one, and then she acted like she didn't want to see me again. She's like one where she tells you what's wrong, and then she doesn't want to keep treating with you.
Oh gosh.
I did. Her name was Dr. Bell, and I did, and she acted really caring the first time, and I went back, and she's like, "Why did you come back?" And I'm like, "I thought she was supposed to help me," and
right.
She's the one that, she kind of told me what I already knew, like with my thyroid. I have hypothyroidism now too, and I think that developed from the Epstein-Barr, just screwed up my body.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have issues like this before, and before the Epstein-Barr. But then she acted like she didn't want to treat me, like no one was going to even treat me for the hypothyroidism, and kind of nobody is now. So it's hard to find willing doctors. I don't really have any who are as willing and nice and keep going with me, like that I can trust. But I guess I have to keep trying.
Well, and I want to tell you that Raphael, there's a lot of healing there. And your other guide, so I said that there were 3. The other guide is working on your health. He said that when you talk about medical doctors, and I don't want to discourage you from, not doing medical treatment. You do what you need to do. That's my disclaimer, But your angel that is behind Raphael on the other side. So you have the organizing angel. Her name is Amber. Your other side is actually a male angel, and he's showing himself to be more like a gnome. Knome.
Okay.
So it's kind of earthy, right?
Knome.
So, I kind of get that outside is good for you. So even opening up a window, even though the weather is cold every now and then, so you get a touch of the outdoors. So that's why he's showing himself as more like an outdoor angel,
Okay.
And so he's a gnome. But when you were talking about the doctor stuff, he kept digging and digging and digging and digging. And I got the feeling like he could dig into that forever and ever and ever and ever. Okay? So he says, let's put down the hard work here to try to figure out what's going on. And let's see if there is like this new kind of motivation that can move into your body and push
That's what I need
out,
is the motivation. Yep.
Right. Push out the dysfunction. And so he'd really like you to try fermented foods.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of any of that in your study?
Fermented? No, this is good. No.
I
don't like sauerkraut.
I know. So maybe you might like kombucha. It's called kombucha.
Okay.
But look up fermented foods. So it feels like that you can, if fermented foods enter into your body. And by the way, you can get sauerkraut that's flavored differently. So you might kind of...
Okay.
All right, but you don't need... If you don't like that, don't eat it. Kefir.
I like raw cabbage. Oh, okay. Oh, I love kefir. I drink kefir.
Ah, there you go. Okay, kefir is a fermented product.
Awesome. I love yogurt to death.
All right, I don't think you want to go with yogurt.
Or Greek yogurt, but yeah.
Okay, Greek yogurt with no sugar.
Okay, Greek yogurt, no sugar.
But
I probably can't go with glycosa.
Kefir would be better. A lot better is what I just heard.
Like plain kefir, because I drink like blueberry and cherry.
Yeah, I would just go with looking at the container and seeing what has less sugar, and stay away from corn syrup.
Got it.
And then I would suggest maybe adding your own fruit instead.
Yeah, I got the Ninja. Okay, I got it. Yep.
Yeah. So I think what this guide is saying is that there might be things that you can do with your diet to help. And what I'm seeing is help to make a golden pathway into your body so that this new motivation has some place to take hold.
Okay. And then I'm worried. Well, then I'm worried that if I start healing, I guess maybe I just don't have a choice. I'll have to go find a job, and then I'm just afraid that's going to deactivate my pineal going back into like corporate world. That's my worry, but I don't know. But I mean, if you have to do what you have to do to make money. So.
Right, and here's the thing about the pineal gland is that once it's open, in my opinion.
Okay.
Then you need to ask your guides, how is it that you can re-enter into the world without losing anything?
Okay.
And that's true of losing your autonomy, losing your sense of control. Okay, so to tell you the truth, I'm in the corporate world also.
Okay.
And it was and I'm glad that we're talking today, because even like 20 years ago, where I was full-time in the corporate world, it was always my goal that there was no way that I was going to let any job get in the way of my spirituality. And so I would go to workshops, and then I would come back to the office, and I would go, I'm not going to be one of those people that doesn't let my spiritual side live in me while I am working.
Okay.
So just because people might not understand, or just because people don't want to hear what I have to say about it, or just because they might have a whole different belief system, when I go out in the world now, I take my full self with me. I may choose to speak with somebody or may not choose to speak with somebody, but it does not mean that I have to shut anything down in order to be out there in the normal world.
Okay.
And that's why it's important to understand that your guides will help you to know what you're supposed to know and then keep the rest of it away. So, when I'm working with my corporate world, for instance, first of all, I'm working with people that are really supportive of me and they really like me. So that's something that you're going to want to do, is why would you want to go back out into the world and have some horrible job where you're a slave? No way. Of course your fatigue would stay in place, because who wants to deal with that?
Yeah.
But I find that since I'm working in my corporate job, that they really like me and they support me. They don't know fully this other side of me, but it doesn't matter because, I get to be helpful and they like my helpfulness and they like my brain and, so that's good enough for me. And so I feel like I really like these people.
Okay.
And that, they're not trying to make me into something that I'm not, But we keep, personal beliefs out of stuff, and so it just doesn't come up. And I can make some extra money that helps me to stay in my other stuff,
Yeah.
Because I like to be able to have my massages. I like to be able to have my acupuncture. I like to be able to, have, a nice home to be sitting here and talking to you. And that requires sometimes for me to have, additional income, or I choose to.
Okay.
But I also.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm wondering what I'm supposed to be doing. Though, am I supposed to be going back to that, or am I supposed to be working harder at my abilities to do full-time work helping others? Like, I'm kind of lost. Like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah, that's a really good question because there's a bridge that always needs to happen. I don't know anybody that would rise up from the position that you're in right now and have a full-time healing business or helping business, within a year or two.
No. Okay.
All right.
But how do I help people? Like, how am I? Am I supposed to be healing or just like a therapist? Should I be going back to college then?
No, I think that first of all, you need to explore what's going on with you because it's being revealed. All right. So this is your time where your skills, your abilities are being defined directly by the fact that you've got Raphael watching over that whole project. So, yes, this is a time when you are to be really aware of what's happening to you spiritually. It is a time where you can't put off, doing some sort of meditation anymore. You need to do that. You need to make sure that you're eating right so that your body is a better vessel to have, a spiritual flow flowing through. And so you're in the midst right now of putting together, the bits and pieces that will reveal to you what it is you're supposed to do.
Got it.
Yeah. So I have no doubt that you have all the bits and pieces coming together. And one of the bits and pieces that comes together that I have found that is true of a lot of people is because of your illness, you have been able to connect in a way that most people haven't been able to connect. I fell apart for 2 years and basically every morning drag myself out of bed. I would be on my knees sobbing, going, I am so grateful I don't have to go to work today. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I needed a really big reset. And you need a big reset. I mean, why are we here?
I definitely
we are not here to be just slaves in some stupid business for our whole life to hope to have, a halfway decent retirement, which means what? That we can afford to get a haircut,
Yeah.
So it's not about that. It's about something much greater. And that's what you're discovering, and that's what you're, quite frankly, stubborn about, and I don't blame you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? But that stubbornness can also aggravate your ability to not move forward, right? Because you don't see.
It sure is.
You don't see any way that you can take what it is that you know, or the importance of life that you are aware of, or that feeling of, I am here to do something special, and see how it can at all fit in the mess of a world that's out there. And quite frankly, what the word I'm hearing is all the assholes that are out there.
Do they know how I think? Oh my gosh.
Right. So you must have
here in Minnesota, I'm not even kidding. The people here in Minnesota are so not into thinking about others. It's so bad here. I'm not kidding.
Right. So you might want to think about, changing communities. But you know what? How are you going to do that at this point, I
know, and I don't know how. I know, because
Right. So here's the trap. You're here to do something great, but you have no idea how it's going to fit into the real world, and you hate the real world. And I can understand that.
It's not that I hate them, but
I know.
They know that I appreciate people too. There are some really sweet. They know, yeah.
But I do want to speak to that side of you that will keep you in a frozen state or a no energy state as long as it takes to avoid figuring out how this is all going to work. So what we do know is that you've got an incredible spiritual side that's awakening, and that's what you need to be really tuning into right now at this moment. Is what does that mean for you? How do you interpret it? What are the guides trying to tell you? It's getting real personal now, these messages that you're getting, right? Meanwhile, that stubborn side of you that is really kind of contributing to keeping you stuck.
Yeah.
Okay? It's contributing to your Epstein Barr. I'm not saying that there isn't, real physical stuff, but that side of you that
it's
really
in the mind. I know.
Yep, you don't want to go out there. And I understand that, right? I really understand that because, I've been borderline financial stability because I want to do this work. But what I discovered was that I didn't give the rest of the world enough credit, because just like you are awakening to your spiritual side, there are people peppered throughout life that are awakening to that. And I think that that's why we had so much anger during the elections, is because people know it's supposed to be better, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a mess. Yes.
Yeah, I know. In their dysfunctional ways, but really what they're saying is, we know it's supposed to be better. Okay, so.
Yes, exactly.
Now that I have found an employer that appreciates me and that really likes what I do, and it did take me a couple years of proving that, I was a good employee, but they were supportive of that.
Okay.
And it's a real helping profession. Okay, so it really matches up with my helping with my intuitive guidance, matches up really well with a helping sort of job.
Okay.
And so now I have found an employer that really lives more that life of what I know is possible out there. I don't care if everybody becomes like me, because the problem is that I've become very much me, and nobody else can be very much me. Yeah, and you are becoming very much you, because when you get this intuitive connection, it's like your own umbilical cord right straight to God. And nobody else can, have that. So when you begin to understand how amazing you are, the way to re-enter into the world is to hope that everybody out there is beginning to know how amazing they are. And if I know, and if you know, there are other people that know, right?
Yes.
And we want them out there in the world. So sometimes people like us are actually the leaders that go out there into the real world, and we try to find nice people. And nice people are everywhere. So we don't want to work for assholes because that's just too much of a stretch. So we work with...
Unfortunately, I've had a lot of bad bosses. It's really hard to find good people over here, but I know what you're saying. They're out there.
And so what I'm being asked to ask you to consider, so this is your guide, the gnome, and his name is Charles, just so you have somebody to talk to. Charles is going to help you find a much more efficient way to get back out into the world, because there's no way you can have a helping profession until you're willing to get back out in the world.
Okay.
That can be done online, but I really feel like that there isn't any way that you can really help people until you become friends with people again.
I would rather help them face to face. It's just that I found awakened people online and not really many in person. But I know that I'd like to help people who are looking for help guide them. I'm guessing is what I should do.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's what I'm to do.
So I think that maybe online might be ultimately your way, but also
as a start, but then to branch out. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So I think that that's the doorway that just needs to be opened. So, for instance, 5 years ago, I would have said, no way could I be back in the corporate world until I started considering that well, if I'm awakened, who said that it always has to be people that are sick and stuck at home that are the awakened ones? It's like, no, God wants us out there. God wants us everywhere, right? So I had to start with an assumption that somebody somewhere is an awakened boss, right?
Okay.
And then I decided that I only wanted to hang out with kind people. And so I just opened the door that was possible, that there were people out there that I could deal with. And you know what? I have energy when I deal with them. I do not have energy when I don't like the people.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so the other day I said something, I was sensing a problem was about to start, and so I was talking to one of my colleagues, and she says, well, what did they say? And I said, well, I don't know if it was what they said or if it was a gut feeling. And she said, oh, well, I think gut feelings are the best. So, that was out of nowhere. I had no idea, but it was my willingness to, be myself. I kind of had to stop a minute and go, how do I say this, Yeah. But I want to be out there in the world, because then that gives the people that I help an actual knowing that it's possible, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to have to be separate anymore. Okay, so we've got some minutes. We're at about an hour. But go through what you need to know.
I was wondering how connected I am to the Zetas, because I was questioning whether I was a rogue one, and then if I was just on my own, that then one showed up that night just for a second, and it had to wake me up a couple of times to get my attention, and then it showed itself for a second.
Do you feel like you're a Zeta?
Yes, I can feel when I'm connected to them. I feel the love in the chest.
Okay. So there's
I'd like to know who I can. Do I have a contact that I can talk to and like I don't remember anything at all, though.
Okay, so
but,
there's...
I'd like to be more connected.
All right, there's a Zeta guide that just showed up. His name is Ron. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but he says, call me Ron. That's the closest.
Okay.
And he is in charge of about 1/3 of the Zetas that are visiting the planet right now, including the one that came to you.
Okay, okay.
And he's willing to work directly with you, Ron is. So Ron will teach you about your connection to the Zetas.
Oh, I love that.
With Raphael being aware of that, okay?
Yes, okay.
So I think you ought to consider that Raphael is like your personal doorkeeper. So if you ever have any question or feel uncomfortable about something, like, the people that were, waking you up at night, it's like, I don't know that I'm supposed to help them, But, so Ron will help you. I don't know if you're a Zeta or whether you're part Zeta, which feels more right to me, or whether you were
I'm a hybrid.
Yes. And but the other thing that's true of you that I do know is that you have been a diplomat with a lot of different species.
I've had a feeling of wanting to work with, if it's any possible in the future, to go work with different star beings. I felt like I'm an ambassador. That's what came to me one day.
Yep. That's what I'm picking up. So confirmation on that. But you know what?
Awesome.
You're going to have to be awakened to what you know.
I know I'm ready. It's like, I'd like to be more open to remember things and
right.
Yeah,
so Ron will help you. Ron will help
you.
But the thing is that when you get awakened, and when there's like big jobs, like being an ambassador is a big job, and when you have Raphael, he indicates you've got big jobs, right? And
that's what I need. That's what I want. Yes, that's what I desire.
Right. Well, I'm getting indications that it's true. They are going to orchestrate your awakening so that it is the most efficient way of you remembering. So you are like a student at this point, and you need to ask these people, how do you, I am open to awakening, and then anything that happens in response to that open to awakening is a lesson that you need to learn, and you need to know how it feels to you, and you need to file it away. And you are at the beginning of that process. So I'm hearing it might be 8 months until you actually know kind of how you might fit.
That's very soon. That's awesome.
Yeah, because things can move very quick, and you have a heck of a lot of knowledge stored in you. Here's the thing, though, and Ron wants you to know this, and so does Raphael, that if you were working full-time right now, it would not affect your ability to be awakened.
Okay. I know that they know that's a fear of mine.
That is a myth that you've made up.
Okay.
And that's the big message.
Good to know. Okay. It's just I'd rather be helping people, and I don't want to go back to where I'm at. I don't feel as useful when I'm not helping people, guide them, or if I'm supposed to be healing people. I just feel like I wish I could do that now and not have to go back into full-time corporate. Yeah, I mean, they know that. Maybe they'll help me find a way.
And, maybe there's a teaching thing you can do. Maybe there is, a kid that needs you,
Oh, I've gotten really soft for kids lately. I like super soft-hearted.
Right.
Like
So,
I feel more at home with kids. Yeah.
Right, right. So maybe that would be enough to get you out of your house. So you need to be looking for the motivations because you, in some ways, have blocked the motivations. And that's fine because it got you to this awakened state. But now there's this thing called ring past not. You get to a certain point and you can't go back, right? So if you got into the corporate world, there's no way that any of these experiences will be erased from you. Nobody can say or do anything, even if they treat you lousy, that will take away this side of you. So my suggestion is to start paying attention to what kind of excites you. Because there's no way you can go back into the world without having your motivation be good and true to you, you know?
Exactly. If things are not true to me, that makes me even more stubborn.
And that is okay because
stuff. Yeah.
that's okay because isn't that the way we want it to be for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you know what? I might have gone over on what I'm able to email you on the conference call. So can we hang up?
Sorry.
Well, let's hang up and then phone back and we'll finish up.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, because these files get too big and then they can't email them to me. So
I'm so
all
sorry.
right, call back at
this
number and we'll talk for a few more minutes.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.